To sew the patch pocket, you need the pattern pieces 13, 14 and 15. The pattern piece 14 we can put aside first because we start with the pattern pieces 13, which is the pocket facing, and the pattern piece 15, which is the lining. You now put your pockets separated into right and left pocket and put the pattern pieces that the right sides are facing you. Now you will just flip down the pattern piece for the facing and put it on top. Make sure that you have a little bit overlay of the lining on this side and a little bit overlay of the facing on this side. This is important to have a clean start and ending of your seam. You will now pin it and sew with 1 centimeter seam allowance. You do the same for the other side. Press the lining away from the facing with the seam allowance pointing towards the lining and top stitch the lining to the facing. Now it's time to take the pattern pieces 15 again, and you will place your prepared lining with facing on top with the top of the outer pocket and the facing lining, and pin and sew the top edge with 1 centimeter seam allowance. Do the same for the other pocket. You will realize that your lining is slightly smaller than your outer pocket, which might occur a little bit wrong, but you don't want your lining showing on the front when your pocket is finished. So if you cut the lining a little bit smaller, it will pull the edges a little bit inside to the back of the pocket, and you won't have the lining showing then. So, but this also means that you have to pin your lining to the outer pocket as if it's the same size. That's a little bit tricky. You can see on the already prepared piece that this means that it starts pulling on the outer pocket, but that is actually correct. So you will start at the bottom by marking the pocket, the turning opening at the bottom, simply by pinning it. You see it starts already to pull, and then you will just distribute the fabric evenly to have the same amount of pulling everywhere. Yeah. You just pin all the way around like shown on the other pocket, and then you will sew with leaving the turning opening open. After sewing, you clip the corners and reduce the seam allowance to 1/2 centimeter or 3 millimeters. This is crucial because at the rounded parts you will have some bulk if you don't do it. I recommend to leave a little bit more of seam allowance at the still open turning opening to have a better chance of closing it. Turn your pocket inside out and give it a good press. Also make sure that you work the corners of your top pocket nicely so that it does have a nice look. Give it a good press. Make sure that your lining is really pulling it equally on all sides to the back of your pocket, and also pin in the seam allowance of the turning opening. You can decide if you would like to already close it loosely by hand, or if you just want to top stitch all around on it and close it while doing it when you top stitch it to your jacket. To add the pocket to your jacket, you will place it along the line that is marked on your front pattern, and make sure that it really aligns with the side seam as well as with the center front. And you will just pin it evenly in place. There are two options how to attach the patch pocket to your jacket. Option one is that you just do a narrow edge stitch and top stitch it to the front jacket. The other option is, if you don't want to have a visible seam on your pocket, you can also hand stitch it to your front. What is important to say is that this is taking a while and you have to be really neat in your stitching so that also this stitching does not show. So it's really like tiny stitches all around. For today, for this pattern, for this jacket, I will use the option one. I would just top stitch it to the front. After you have attached the pocket to your front, you're done with your pocket. You can then turn to adding belt loops, or you can just go on with a lining, or if you like it unlined, with adding the collar and doing the hem.